I've seen your work and I've known what you do now for quite a while. Like I used to follow you on social media and we just met quite recently.
Yeah.
But I still struggle to figure out what you do because you're so good at everything. What do you call yourself? A hybrid creative?
Yeah, I mean, like, I've seen my life in three categories. One is being a filmmaker, where I've had success with the Academy Awards. Another one is as a social influencer and content creator on Instagram and those kinds of platforms. And then thirdly, like working as a creative director. And it's weird how all three of those are, which seem quite far apart, are slowly coming together closer and closer. And I almost feel like social is what is the attribute where things are leaning more and more towards like needing film and video content that can live on social.
Wait, so you got, what happened at the Academy Awards? What was that about?
I was lucky enough that my student film was nominated for the Academy Awards in the student category, and I mean, that was just like quite a life-changing experience and something I never expected, but it's quite exciting when you get that, the email from the Academy that you've been selected as a finalist, and I mean, that has opened a lot of doors. And
did you plan for that, or was it just something that you had made and you were like,
I think mostly our focus was on just like trying to get it done, like trying to have a product that is people want to watch at the end. But I think like for the whole crew, it was a really huge project where everyone got involved and everybody had an influence on this project. And I think like everyone had different goals for the project as well, like personal goals, and by allowing everyone to express those personal goals and what they want to achieve, whether it is in cinematography or makeup, allowing them to really explore that space helped, I think, elevate the project, because it, just the makeup and the wardrobe would really influence the script or the narrative of the project. And I think, on our mind, it was like we all want to do our best in that field, and we realized by collaborating, having like the makeup and wardrobe design and like have an impact on the script, it really changed a lot.
So speaking of change, I mean, how long have you've been doing film now for quite a while?
Yeah, so I graduated from AFTER in 2013, and then I went on to study in the States, in Boston, and that ended in 2016. So I've been, just like all along doing that. But I think my whole, it's not that I went to AFTER and suddenly started shooting video stuff. It was just like, even before then, you just shoot on whatever was available to you.
And how do you feel about the transition now with film? Because everybody who's got a smartphone technically is now a filmmaker. Anybody can pull out their camera and tell a simple story. There's so many apps available for you to be able to cut it up. How do you think that's changed the idea of filmmaking or the purity? Like, do you think it's taken away from the purity and the essence of it?
I think what the great thing is, it allows a lot of different people to express their views and their opinions and really their creativity in a space where, you don't necessarily have to make a feature film or something to have an impact in someone's life. It can be a short little boomerang on Instagram or something like that that can have just as much of an impact or reach a bigger audience even in that sense. And you've got people that are just becoming full-time YouTubers, even though they were filmmakers before the time, and they're getting like huge audiences and huge followings. And I think it really just allows like many more opportunities to express yourself. So it's not just like that the phone has opened the opportunity for more people to make movies. The phone has opened the opportunity for many different ways to express yourself that's not necessarily film, but it's still in that kind of content space. And that's what I really love about it, and that's what I appreciate about it. You can come here and meet people like Lorenzo, who are creating amazing illustrations on their phones, and then other people who are just creating like, where I just went and filmed like people dancing all around the world for a few years on my phone, so it really gives you that accessibility and allows people who, in a very saturated market, you can still stand out.
And as a filmmaker, do you think that your job's become a lot more difficult now?
It has become a lot more difficult, because like, when do you want to make your movie when there's so much exciting stuff happening in a content and social space right now? So when should you step into that space and be like, okay, I'm going to make that movie right now? And that's kind of what has been the conflict to me at the moment. It's like, obviously you want to make a feature film, but where the really exciting stuff is happening right now is on the social platforms like Instagram. And like Instagram just launched Instagram TV. And how can you harness that and really use that, just not just to tell stories, like to work with brands, to do everything? Like, how does that work?
Has your narrative and your style, so to speak, changed? Do you think about about these things differently now?
I think you do think about them differently in the sense that like I was talking about the hybrid creative earlier, you know, where you're looking for people that can do all of these things, that can really like help your brand tell a story, you know, looking for a filmmaker that really is passionate about stories and about people, and someone that has that social experience as well, someone that understands how Instagram works and what people want to see on Instagram and like how to bring those together for your brand. I think there's a sweet spot in that, and people, you know, because of social, you're forced to, you know, you can't just ask people for favors the whole time to help edit something for you. You're forced to learn how to use Premiere and all those other programs. So it really gives you the tools that you can create something epic for a brand for a small budget as well.
So a lot of the behind the scenes now, the behind the scenes shots are the things that seem to get a lot of the traction.
Yeah.
You know, are you opposed to that kind of thing? You know, if somebody comes up to you and says, "Yo, Miklas, we know that you can do this really great stuff, but we want you to do the behind the scenes of this shoot," or do you consider it now an opportunity to do something cool?
I mean, yeah, a lot of the behind the scenes videos that you watch of a TVC or something like that are like really epic, you know, and even you've got Will Smith who's doing YouTube vlogs, and it looks like behind the scenes, but they're really great content that are getting huge engagement. So I think like it's a need, and like we need to change our mindset and like how we want to approach things and like what you can do with what is available to you. And I think, you know, there's so much inspiration out there where you can just go on Instagram channels and see what people are doing and really like be inspired by that and like translate that for your South African market. And
I mean, we were chatting about Jason Peterson going to hip hop concerts and shooting the stuff that's happening before they jump on stage or after they come off stage. So you're not even getting the actual concert, it's all the other content that nobody gets to see. So it's become a lot more voyeuristic now, which is cool.
That's what we want to see. We want to be able to like get that close to those people that you would want to get close to. You want to see like, what is this person off like behind stage and all that. And like Jason Peterson is the ECD of Havas, like America, you know, so he's like really high up in the advertising field, but he uses social in every single aspect, and he's even taken, you know, influencers from all around the world and brought them all together to Chicago into what he's calling the Annex. And in the Annex, it's just like these influencers that are working as creative directors now and really like helping brands move into this field and into the space, which is really important. Like a lot of brands don't understand it yet. And I think because you saw his Instagram account with like 1 million followers, he understands it. He understands like where advertising is moving. It's really interesting that he's taken that approach, and it's been working because like a lot of the people that I know that have been selected to the Annex have, you know, from being these content creators are suddenly like creative directors on like huge brands. And not that they studied advertising, they just know.
That's
Instagram.
Interesting for me, you know, that's interesting for me because then this title just gets given to you, and it's not even a field that you've ever been in. You're a good photographer, but that's not enough, you know. And I think that's what I like about where this is going is I think it's not enough to be one thing anymore. You actually have to bring in all your skills, you know, to be able to tell a story, you know.
We grew up in a world like where, you know, a lot of people don't have TV subscriptions anymore and that kind of stuff. We're watching YouTube every single night. Like that's what we're falling asleep to, is like vloggers and the PewDiePie and that kind of stuff, where that's what influences us. Like even gaming, you know, how huge gaming is right now. I think there's so much untapped in that.
Now, did you make a transition from were you a photographer first and then became a filmmaker, or did it happen the other way around? Or would you say that there was a transition, or did you just naturally?
I think the way it kind of happened was I had my film, which was doing well, and we were going, you know, on the festival circuit with this film. And at the same time, Instagram had like just been starting up in South Africa, like 2013, 2014. And because of being invited to all these festivals and explore, you know, going to all these different countries, you kind of just start like Instagramming your journey and Instagramming that process and just the things that cross your path when you're in a new city and you're in a new place. And that kind of like sparked Instagram for me as well, helped me build my following. And through that, you know, the two of them kind of grew together. But where they really transitioned into each other was when Instagram launched the video. And it was only 15-second videos at that point. But Instagram had been looking for a lot of people who have that video experience. So they spoke to like myself and Gareth Khan, for example, to be like, guys, what should we do? Like, how can we create trending hashtags and that kind of stuff, like specifically for video content? And that was like a huge point for me, because they were like, you know, we know you nominated for the Academy Awards, like we know you got that kind of film, but we want you to apply an Instagram post, it takes like 5 minutes or whatever to upload a photo. It can take a day or a week or even longer to create a piece of video content. So like, what can you do to create this like really this consumable video content that's like easy to hashtag, easy to create, something people want to share, you know? So that was the goal there, and that's really how the transition is.
You know, the interesting thing for me with social platforms is like always telling young people, just especially, that you have to embrace it. You know, you don't just use it as a social platform. Like it's a 24-hour exhibition space, you know, to showcase. But for somebody like you who's transitioned into that phase now and has learned to monetize, you know, whatever they're putting out there, what is the other tricks? How do you do it? Where do you go?
So, I mean, I always say as well, like, don't take business cards with to film festivals or events or wherever you go. Like, just add the people on Instagram, like use Instagram as your business card, because like we were looking at accounts yesterday where people have like almost this little website on their Instagram accounts.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like a business card gets put in a pocket and that's it. Like here you can just like hit people up through Instagram when you want to chat to them after wherever you've seen them, like whether it was like at a, I don't know, a bar or something like that. You can always just like chat business or whatever afterwards, and they'll already be in a comfortable space with you. They already feel like they know you more, they're following you, and you always stay top of mind as well. You know, you're gonna post and it's gonna come up in their feed and they're like, wow, that's some amazing stuff that he's doing, you know, I want to work with this guy. So to me it's been like, you know, really use it as a space that you stay on top of mind all the time, that you're always posting cool content that's going to speak to the people you want to work with. And like it's been a great place for that, but also then, like you said, for working with brands. A lot of brands are realizing like social and platforms like Instagram are really, you know, getting a lot of attraction. People before purchasing something will look at a hashtag, you know. You want to populate your hashtag with really cool content, you know. If you want to sell a pair of shoes or a restaurant or a coffee shop, they're going to find the hashtag of the coffee shop and see what people have been posting, you know. And it's about like getting influencers and people to populate those hashtags.
And then just for any content creators out there, filmmakers, I think, especially, and I guess photographers, what do you think is the next wave? What should they be looking out for? What should they be working on? Like, where should they be shifting their way of thinking?
Well, definitely, I think like shift in terms of like shooting in portrait rather than landscape. Like that's already a huge
Oh,
shift.
you think so?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's a really interesting space, and it's interesting how you can use that new frame size to really maximize your content. You know, like, yeah, it might look awkward in some sense, but I think, you know, landscape film and video has been something that's been around for so long and has been perfected in like, this is how you frame stuff, this is how you make it look cinematic. It's like, how can you explore that like in an absolutely new frame size? You know, so much content is being consumed on mobile phones. When you're on the subway or wherever you are, people are watching things on their phones and they're watching it in portrait, and that's the best way to watch something on a phone. You know, people, yeah, you can tell people to turn their phone, but often they're just watching it in portrait mode. And I think like really find a way to maximize that space and really get innovative in that frame size. I think, you know, that's where I think it's going, and I'd really be interested to see like what people can do with that.